I started a fire with BTS. Do I keep it going and make it even bigger, or do I put it out? Let me tell you how awesome you are. The bond we have is not one of entertainer and entertainee. It's friend to friend. Hobie's big dilemma going forward as he, begins chapter 2 of their career. Hi guys, good to see you again. Do we still call these a comeback? I hope we call these a comeback because I don't know what else to call them. You guys been enjoying the music like I have? I definitely have. It's a very interesting insight into Jung Ho-seok. I feel so weird to call him that. He's Hobie. He's always gonna be Hobie. That name fits him so well. So on today's stream, I just wanted to play the songs, talk about them, share my thoughts and the meaning that I've taken away from them, see what you guys think, see if you have any additional insights or have seen them from different places on the internet, and compare notes. And just enjoy his comeback week and all the wonderful music that Hobie gifted us with. I hear he's doing really well, by the way. That his music, he's had like the #1 release of a Korean artist. What did I retweet? I retweeted some wonderful news about him. Arson has reached #1 on all 5 USA Amazon digital songs charts. So he's #1 for bestseller, #1 for new releases, #1 for movers and shakers, #1 for international bestseller, and #1 for international new releases. And all songs of Jack in the Box are simultaneously charting in the top 10. Does that include the instrumental song? That's cool. And then also, Jack in the Box earns the biggest debut for an album by a Korean soloist in Spotify history. So that's fucking amazing. And again, it's not like these things matter, right? It's not like we measure his success as an artist by how many #1s he gets, how many charts he tops and all of that. But it's just a nice sign of the support that he's getting, because I don't think this fandom gives our support disingenuously, if that makes sense. We give support to him because we care about him and because we enjoy the music. If we didn't, we just wouldn't listen. But we do like it. So yeah. Alrighty. So as I've done with previous listening parties for Proof, while I'm streaming, it should be okay. I should be able to play all the music that I have, all the copyrighted music. But the minute that I finish the stream, YouTube will go through it and be like, oh, you have copyrighted music? Unacceptable. And it'll block it immediately, which is really funny because I think in theory, if I took down the stream and re-uploaded it as like just a normal uploaded video, I would just get copyright claims on it. And Hybe would take the revenue and they'd be like, sure, whatever. But because it's alive, it doesn't work like that, which confuses me. I don't know, just take the revenue from it. I don't care. Take your ad revenue, Hybe. But whatever. So if it gets taken down after this or blocked, as I expect it will, I will just take out all the discussion bits and upload it as a separate video like I've been doing the last 2 times with Proof. So yeah, I think that's it. Shall we get into it? I'm gonna take that as a yes.
Hope gave people the will to carry on living amidst the pain and strife.
So before we move on, I just wanted to say that intro, I'm very happy that he put that in there. And I wanted to get your guys' thoughts. Why do you think Hobie identifies with Hope and the story of Pandora's box and Hope being the last thing in there so much? Because he's told us over the years many times that, part of the reason he selected his stage name as J-Hope is because he really liked the story. I guess, what is it? It's part of Greek mythology. I thought about that a lot as I was listening to this album and listening to him make a full, work of art, this whole musical album all around this big concept. And I think what I take away from it is that he sees maybe himself in part, maybe it was the self-fulfilling prophecy, that he was the hope for BTS. I think there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that they've never told us and maybe never will, because that's just not how they roll. But I think one of those things is that which they've hinted at, is that he was like this pillar of support and strength, and like after Namjoon, he was like the other leader. And I think that's incredible, for one thing, to take that on as a young guy, also new to the music industry and everything they went through. But yeah, so I just think that he's hope. Kim Namjoon said, "We will not make it without Jung Ho-suk." Yes, exactly. Like, he took on so much on his own, and I think it was with the thought that he was the hope for the group. He had to be the strength that they needed, the backbone that they needed to keep going. He needed to be the one to look on the bright side, to make it through, to, I don't know, push them harder, to work harder. I think he has a lot of mental strength, is what I'm going to say.
Someone's life, someone's mind, someone's hope. 내 활동들은 someone's life.
So I think I saw somewhere online, there's this one ARMY on Twitter who does a really good job translating. I mean, they all do a really good job translating. So I have translations here from a bunch of different ARMYs kind of all thrown together. And none of these translations are the end all be all, but they're just the one that I grabbed. But anyway, there was this other, like not this translation, but there was another person on Twitter who was just going through, translating stuff. And he was saying that, this album, the way it's laid out and the topics of each song is kind of like, it's a narrative. It's a story. It's Hobi giving you his perspective, from start to finish on a lot of different things. And I just really like that the song after the intro about the Greek myth of Pandora's box and hope is how he is the hope in Pandora's box and how that applies to him. Honestly, I forgot to say this in the beginning, but if I had to pick a bunch of words to summarize this album and what I thought it revealed to me and all the things that it made me feel and how I would describe it to someone, they're like words like raw, honest, gritty, passionate, introspective, confessional, and compelling. Because to me, what I took away after listening to this album, after looking at the lyrics, after trying to dissect them and digest them, which I'm still doing now, it's only been like, 2 days, is that Hobi is a person who hides, from my observation, he is a person who hides a lot of things and keeps them on the inside. I feel like his motto has always been, don't let them see you sweat. And he's hidden a lot of the hardships that he's gone through as a member and as a leader of BTS. And I think that I've never really gotten to see inside his head and what he actually thinks, even though he's tried to tell us that sometimes. And I think this entire album, each song, each topic, like, they're all him actually pouring out what's happening inside his head and what his perspective is on everything they've gone through as BTS, on how he thinks of himself, on what he wants to do in the future. And to me, that's such a precious insight that I feel so privileged to get, considering for 9 years he didn't really give that. And so I'm listening to this song, right, and looking at the lyrics for Pandora's Box. And what I take away from it is kind of what I was saying before, about how his name was a self-fulfilling prophecy, and he thinks that too. Where basically in this song, it seems like he's saying, I was destined for my role, for my name. Like, it was my destiny, knighted in the name. That's my name. Mythology paints on a second layer to its meaning. Now I'm on my way. Like, he's like, I became the hope for the freaking group. I became their backbone. And not even just the group. He talks about the lyrics, like where he says, I'm someone's light, someone's smile, someone's hope. My work is someone's life. And we all know that's in relation to ARMY. It's in relation to how many people adore BTS and how many people look to them to be their happiness and to be their support in our shitty world. And so he acknowledges that he understands that, and like that it's a duty that he's taken on. And then later on, like I feel like he also is saying like, well, is that all I am? Like, do I know what my life is supposed to be because I am this hope. Like, have I seen the big picture of everything yet, or is there more to my future that I haven't seen yet? And I think again that's indicative of, I think, where he is and probably where they all are right now as they enter chapter 2 of their career, is them trying to figure out, and him in particular, what comes next. Do I know, am I prepared for what comes next? Is someone else in charge of that, or is this all on me? And then again, he just talks about, and he comes back to these themes more in later songs about how he's seen the rest of the evil and the dark things that were in Pandora's box that came out. Greed, envy, resentment, jealousy. He's experienced all of it and had all of it thrown on him through his career. And through that, he's seen that he and hope is necessary. And so I think in some sense, this song kind of encapsulates how he thinks of himself and his identity as a person and as an artist. And also the song is just really fun to jam out to. I think the other thing I noticed that you guys might have noticed listening to all these songs is that they kind of seem to have very similar beats. And if you recall in like 2020 when he was doing those YouTube lives where he would like practice in a studio and just dance in front of the mirror and would film it for us and we could watch him live, all of those songs kind of had like a similar beat. Like this is all of like it seems like it's his preferred beat to like dance to, and it's like repeated in like other songs on this album. And it seems like, to me, it kind of feels like it's a rhythmic heartbeat for him. Like he isn't. And I had this conversation with my husband. I'm gonna have to take a little tangent. We were talking about how like all the songs on this album seem very similar at times, and was that intentional or was that just like accidental? And then we remembered, like, well, if you look at Hope World has songs of a lot of different variety on it, like different melodies, different beats, like different moods. And so when you listen to Hope World, like, you know he's capable of that and he's conscious of that and he knows how to do that. But he didn't choose to do that on this album. This album was a lot more like dark, gritty, raw. And I know he talked about how he's trying to show the dark side of him, the more honest side of him. And the more honest side of him isn't as, I don't know, focused on being like a glamorous, upbeat song. It's more focused on giving him the space to say these things that are honest, but might not be the most flattering or might not be as similar to as the persona you think you've seen of him. And so that's why, to me, I feel like he's shown a more stripped down version of who he is, like without the fanfare of like being upbeat and melodic and knowing what he's doing. Like, it's more focused on, this is me. These are the thoughts that go through my head. These are the things that are going through my mind, and I'm exposing them to you. I'm showing you what I really think of myself, of my future, of my past, and of the world around me. So yeah. Don't remember how I got on this topic, but hi guys, thanks for joining. Yeah, so do you guys have any thoughts on Pandora? Please feel free to chime in. Also, does anybody have a favorite on this album? I like the end of this song a lot. Oh, do you guys know why, or do you have an opinion on why he calls himself a Jack-in-the-Box? Like, why do you think that resonates so much with him? Because I've thought about this, and I have a lot of different opinions. And one of them is, if you think about it, a Jack-in-the-Box is a piece of entertainment. No, don't move on. Okay. A Jack-in-the-Box is something that is in a box, is contained or trapped in there, and it's for your entertainment, and you crank it, and it makes music, and it entertains you, and then it pops out and scares you, / entertains you, / shocks you. And in a sense, that is kind of what his role is as the kind of artist he is. His role is to entertain us, it's to shock us, it's to make us think about things that we didn't think about before, aka shock us and entertain us. And he's also kind of trapped. He's trapped in there. And he talks about it in a later song in what you think he talks about it in Safety Zone. About how he's kind of it like goes back to the photo shoot concept they had for Love Yourself Tear, where they were all in the box and there were cameras and hands and phones and they were just trapped in there. I think that is something that's an experience that a lot of celebrities can relate to. So that's why I think he called himself Jack in the Box. And plus, in a sense, it's also like being a little bit of like a puppet. Let's see, what are you guys saying? Arson is my favorite. The more I listen, the more I like. It helped that I read the lyrics too. Yes, I will say, I think the heart of this album lies in the lyrics. And I've heard from Army translators that his lyricism and his vocabulary and his rhyming are incredible on this. Alas, I don't speak Korean and I can't verify that. But I've read a lot of people being impressed with it. And so from my end, as someone who can only read translations, what I get out of it is I think the lyrics are very confessional and very honest and sincere or authentic. And they are telling me things that he hasn't felt comfortable admitting before for a variety of reasons and has kept secret. And so for me, that's what I'm taking away from this album, that I get to know him more from all of this. I love the album so much, but I think my fave song is Future. I like Future a lot too. I can't wait to get to it. You know what? Let's move on. Let's listen to more, and I'll pull up the lyrics, and then we'll talk about that one.
Yeah, I'm Thursday. Better weather to resurf it.
Why do we tell artists or make it that artists can't feel comfortable admitting that they want a Grammy, that they want to be, want to win everything, that they want all of that? Because to me, it's very interesting. Like, is this tied to BTS and them being humble? Is this a Korean thing? Is this all artists in general? But I feel like there's this like culture or expectation that artists are supposed to be like, I'm just here to make music. I don't want to win any awards or anything. Like, that'll come if it comes. I'm just here to make music. When the truth is that I think almost every artist wants to be so recognized and be on such a scale that they win everything and everyone knows them, and then they feel validated and recognized and acknowledged for and beloved for all of their work. Yeah, I don't know, just something I was thinking about, because I was reading these lines about how he's like, want it, stadium with my fans, clean sweep, all the trophies, Grammys too, honor, wealth, it's not, well, whatever. But I'm just like, it feels confessional that he's saying that, even though like instinctually, like I know he wants that. I know they all want that. But yeah, anyway, I think this song is a really great encapsulation of Hobi's passion. Like, I think usually he's pretty quiet about it. He doesn't really talk about, or like, I don't know. I think Hobi's usually been like kind of like a black box about some of this stuff, and now here he's just like, I'm so passionate, I'm addicted. I guess it's in the same veins as Dionysus, right? Where it's like, I want more. I'm drunk off my art. I've done this for so long. I've learned it. Learning on my own for 11 years. Like, I'm really. It's like you can hear in the song that he's proud of everything he's done so far, but he's also humble at the thought of how much more he has to go and how much more there is to learn. But he can't stop, and he loves it. And in a way, this is kind of like the pain and the pleasure of art, right? Of making art. Yeah, anyway. it's a great song, and I thought it was really cool that he made this the opening music video that came out before his album, because it really it showed us a side of him that we had not previously seen. So it was like a very good introduction to the thoughts and ideas and the kind of music that we were gonna get in this album. And in one of his interviews, they even said, like, this is so different than everything you've put out before. I can't remember which one it was. Was it the Variety interview? Where they were like, were you afraid of, like, your army or, like, your fans being confused about what was coming out, or, like, being unable to handle this sudden change? And he was just like, I'm just being honest. This is honestly me, so take it or leave it. Which I thought was a great response. But yeah, great song. Let us move on. Let's move on to Stop. So known as There Are No Bad People in the World.
Stop, 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 calm.
This song has really grown on me. I don't know if you guys know Nujabes, but I like hear the influence of Nujabes in there. If you don't know who that is, he was basically an artist that they called the father of lo-fi music. He was the one who kind of created that genre, and I know Hobie loves him because in his live, where he danced all over that studio, he played a shit ton of Nujabes music. I think a bunch of them really like Nujabes, which I love. I love to know because I adore Nujabes. He passed away, so R.I.P. him. But yeah, so I hear that in this song. I love the commentary in the song. It's actually, to me, in the vein of, what's the song from D2, from Yoongi's mixtape, the one where he had Namjoon feature on it. Was it called Strange? Yeah. Okay. I'm not crazy. Yeah, that song. Where, like, this song is basically a commentary on the thing I think so many of us see in the news in whatever country we're in and talk about all the time, how prevalent hate is in the world right now, and especially in the online space, and how easy it is to join in on that. How easy it is to get angry over our differences with other people, and how hard it is to overcome those differences or forgive people for being different from you. And the thing that I like about this song is that he's not commentating on it from a place of like, oh, well, I'm better than you, like, I wish you were as good as me. It's more of a, I'm just like you, I feel these things too. And that's why, like, in this song, like, he raps about how he's getting angrier, and then he's like, no, stop, don't fight, like, relax, gotta remember I can't get carried away. And then the next verse, like, basically each line escalates his disagreement with someone, and then he's like, no, stop, calm down, don't run away. And then, like, he's talking about how like I love the line of earlier where he's like, where's the line, where is it? The world is smart nowadays, but most of it is not smart. Online meetings full of rage. Yeah, like, we have smartphones, smart TV, smart fridges, everything's smart, and everyone has just been reduced to such infantile reactions to everything. No one lets their, like, more, like, upper brain think. It's all base instinct. And I just love how he, as he's escalating the lines and getting more and more aggressive, he then pulls back. He's like, no, stop, change your mind, change our minds. Like, we need to be the ones who recognize that we're getting carried away and pull back. And I think that's very clever, the way he did that. And the other thing that he talks about in the song is that, like the subtitle for the song is There Are No Bad People in the World, because he says we are born through the law of cause and effect, that basically we are the result, our actions and our behavior and who we are the result of our environment, our background, our upbringing, our context. And so you can't look at someone else who does these horrible things that you would never in your life think of doing and go, oh, they're they're a bad person or they're not a person and I'm good. It's like, maybe you'd be the exact same in their scenario. Like, you didn't go through what they went through. And you know, like that there's actually a lot of philosophy behind that. And you know, all the sci-fi books I've been reading lately are just like, there is no free will. Like, like what you do and your actions are just a reaction to the environment that you're in and what came before you. So why are you getting upset at other people for doing things? They're literally just, the reaction is automatic. Like, if you grew up in a really shitty environment, you might do the same things. So yeah, I really love the choruses in the song. The stop, stop, stop stuff. Really freaking catchy. Jay says, wonder what his Lollapalooza stage will be like. Gonna enjoy it vicariously through armies attending. Yeah, me too. I read, again, I think it was the Variety interview where, oh, maybe it was a different one. I can't remember. They're all blending together. But he said that, I think they were commenting on how his music video for Arson, there was no dancing in it. It was like very stripped down. It was him walking in a one-take shot. And they were like, are you not doing dancing anymore? And he was saying that, like, well, that's always been in my arsenal, like, as a tool for me. And that's like something I've honed and what I'm known for. And I want to expand my arsenal and have other tools available for me. And that's why I'm focusing on the artistry, on the music, on the lyrics, the things that I haven't been known for. I want to develop them as well and get them to the point where I'm known for them as well as my dancing. And they were asking him, so what's your stage at Lollapalooza going to be like? And he's like, I can't remember what he said, but it seemed like he was saying that it would be a mix of like he wants to focus on the new him, the less dancing, more lyric heavy Hobie. But he's also cognizant of, you need people to be entertained by the visual. So I would expect there will be some dancing, but maybe not as much as we would expect previously. I don't know. You guys let me know if you have any other thoughts on that. I haven't read like all the interviews from him yet. I wish there was like one central location where we could all find them so I could just read them all in order. But yeah, this song is so catchy. I like playing it on a loop. Do you guys see what I mean though by like how there's like this like rhythmic beat that's very similar between the songs we've listened to so far? And to me, like hearing them more and more and knowing that this seems to be the kind of like beat that Hobie likes to dance to, these songs seem like they're very like they're his heartbeat. Like these are like the core principles, the core values, the core perspectives that he has, like his baseline about what he thinks about himself as Hope from Pandora's Box, his passion and drive to make more art even though he doesn't think he's as good as he could be, and his innate belief that like there are no bad people in the world. Do not get angry when someone's a lot different than you. You just like, there are just things you don't understand. Loba says he's probably going to have backup dancers. Probably, I agree with you. And either VCR/visuals behind him or more elaborate lighting, depends on the venue too. I agree. I think he's had time to film a VCR. I would think he would do that for his debut stage. Honestly, if I was him and I was like gonna be the first Korean artist to have a solo stage on like and be headlining Lollapalooza and have all this attention, blah blah blah, I would go all out. Just because I'd be like, I need to make this over the top so that I feel like I've done too much. I've done everything I can to like blow people away. Okay, so let's move on to no worries, Jazzy. Let's move on to the next song. The next song is called Equal or Equal Sign, which I actually think is really cool that it's just the equal sign and then in parentheses he's like equal sign, like it is what you think it is. But yeah. I really like how creative he got with this. Like, he's really experimenting and pulling everything he has together and stretching his talents to the limit as he has them right now. And by the way, I wanted to say, like, you know how he posted on Weverse and he was like thanks for listening to my album. Like, this is like a really raw and personal for me, as we expected. Like, my soul is in every song, and all these things that I feel are on the album. I'm already listening to it, and I see places where I could have improved and things that I could have done better, and I'm learning, blah blah blah, and it's frustrating, but I hope you enjoy. And I read that, and I'm like, that's a sign of growth. If you're looking at the things you've made and going, oh, I could have done that better, that means you think that because you know now you have an ear for what could have been better, and you maybe have an idea of how to make it better. If you listen to your stuff and you were like, oh no, this is perfect, I don't need to change anything, then I think that would be a sign that, like, you maybe have peaked, or like that this is the max ability you have right now. And I think that maybe would be a sign of like stagnation. As opposed to, like, I think literally all of them, especially all the rap line, whenever they release an album or a mixtape, they're like, oh, I'm listening to it now and I could have done better. And that's a sign that you've advanced your talent. You've done better. Like, you've grown as an artist, and that's good. You want to have ideas of, oh, I could have done that better. That's what you want to feel. You don't want to feel like, I have nothing else to learn. I'm done. The end. Loba says, Hope World didn't have much dancing. This isn't new. Very true. Very true. On Hope World, he also wanted to focus on, like, I think on that mixtape, he really wanted to focus on his production skills, because I think the production of those songs is like really over the top and well done. Like, you get what I mean? Like, it was very like full sounding. It was more a focus on how can he display all of his talents as a producer, versus this is more focused on the lyricism and the ideas and the rawness that he's conveying through the music. And I'm not trying to take away from the production quality here at all, because I also think it's really good and it fits what he's trying to do. Loba says, I think it depends on your personality. I don't think there's anything wrong with being completely satisfied with something you created. It doesn't mean you aren't interested in improving. Very true. That is very true. Yeah, well, you can be satisfied with something you made and also think, oh, I could have improved it. I just don't want them to ever feel like, because I get this sense that they go, oh, I'm not a true artist, or I'm not as good of an artist as everyone thinks I am because I'm listening to my own art and it's not as perfect as I wanted it to be. And I'm just like, first off, perfection doesn't exist. Perfection is a feeling in time that can change. And two, I don't measure the success of something by how, I don't know, perfect it is, how advanced it is in terms of your abilities. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're awesome, and I wish I could imbue them with more confidence and be like, no, we love you. We truly do love you and everything you put out. Be confident in that. Oh, anyway, okay, let's listen to Equal Sign.
There's nothing to be kind. We're so different, you and I.
This song is so cute. Loba says they always seem pretty confident in their old songs, though. They listen to them and get excited when they come up. But that is true. I'm happy for them. Yeah, Jazzy says his voice. I know! Hobie's actually singing in the song. I love that. I love that for him. That makes me happy. So this song, I feel like, goes hand in hand with the song before, Stop, because I feel like this song is also a commentary on how much prejudice there is in our world and how we all experience being excluded and discriminated against and treated differently because of our differences. And there's also, I feel like this is his commentary and his reaction to how he's been treated in his career. And he's just saying, like, in the previous song, there are no bad people in the world. And in this song, like, we're all equal, you and I. We're all the same. Like, and I hope one day we find that equal sign and we realize that, like, that's what I truly believe. Because this song, I think, is also, it has the same beat. So I think this is also, like, a baseline core perspective song of his, if that makes sense. And I really like the chorus where is it a chorus? Is it a bridge? Good God, I don't remember again. But the part where he says, it costs you nothing to be kind. Because I do agree with that. And I also think it ties into how he expressed in the last song, Stop, that, like, if you get riled up and angrier, you should pause and calm down and, like, recover your brain, because it doesn't cost you anything to be nice to someone regardless of how you're feeling. Just calm down. Or maybe on the other side you could say, like, well, it does actually cost something. You have to be willing to put in the work to be calm versus just letting your feelings run away with you. But yeah, so I mean the song is him basically saying, like, we should focus on our similarities, not our differences. And I like the lighter melody in it, because as opposed to the last three songs that were very, like, grungy and dark, and kind of gave me the sense that those were, like, the baseline feelings that he has, the deep gritty ones that are not very pretty, not very positive. This song is kind of like his hope. Like, the melody's a little more playful, a little more I don't remember English. What is the word? It's lighter. Whimsical. That was the word I was looking for. So I feel like this is him just saying, like, I'm hoping for the day when it all gets better, when we all feel better, when, like, we all know that we're equal and we all treat each other better. It's really cute, happy song. So weird that I really like this like instrumental interlude. Jay says, can't remember if it was June or Yoongi that said to just release the music and learn from it, and I can't argue with that. I can't agree with that enough. I can't argue with their opinion enough. Can't agree with it enough. It was Yoongi. He said it to Jungkook. Yeah, you're right. It was in the dinner party. Although I think they've said it in, like, a live here or there too, that, like, you just have to release the music. You have to make something and release it, because then you'll learn from it. If you make a bunch of things, a bunch of art, and then keep it to yourself, then you never finish the process, because the full process is making something and then, I don't know, putting it out in the world and learning from it, I guess is what they were trying to say. Are you gonna play again? Did I fix it? Okay, good. So, funny thing. Why, like, what are we supposed to take away from this instrumental interlude? So, okay, I know that this first picture is very cute, so I tried to find a less cute picture, but it's still kind of cute. Basically, what I get out of this is that, to me, like, the cranking of the cranking noise is both a music box and a Jack in the Box. As far as I remember, a Jack in the Box makes like less of a cute melody like this. And but I don't know, I haven't played with a Jack in a Box in a really long time. But basically what I was trying to get at is that, to me, like, this interlude feels like nostalgia for childhood a little bit, and, like, the things we used to play with when we were kids. But also, if he is the Jack in the Box and he's this puppet that we, you know, crank the crank? until he pops out, then he's also like, he's a puppet and he's here to entertain others. And he is in the music box as an artist. And so because there's like, I feel like the songs after here are a little more wild or like I feel like they start changing a little bit more in like the rhythm and the melody than the first couple of songs. So to me, it's like he gave us all of his baseline thoughts about who he is, his name, how he feels about his career, his passion for making more, how he feels about treating each other well, and how he hopes that we can find a way to live in a world that's happier and that we're all less angry and hateful with each other. And then he's reflecting on himself, on his youth through this reflection. And then he's moving on to like the next songs. And the next song after this is What If, which is like him really reflecting on like what his life would be like if it hadn't happened the way that it had. Like, what if I didn't have X, Y, and Z? I really like What If. And so I feel like this is like the beginning of the, right, because it's called Music Box Reflection. So this is the first part of the reflection about him remembering his childhood and who he is. And then the next part is, well, what if I never had everything that I got through my life the way it is right now? So please give me your thoughts on if you agree or disagree with what I'm saying. These are just my opinions. But yeah, so here you go. Let us listen to the next ones.
Nothing. Can I do that shit?
I love this song. I love this song. Oh my God. So I am sure they have all asked themselves this question a million times, right? Because at the end of the day, they're just normal people like you, like me, who ended up making a bunch of decisions in a row that led them to a very insanely successful career, the likes of which have never been matched in all of history. You know, people compare them to the Beatles, but I think they're, in our world today of social media and interconnectedness in the digital online space, they're bigger than the Beatles, a lot bigger. And we know them in a way that people never knew the Beatles at the time. And so I think with all of that, I'm sure there's a lot of also imposter syndrome that falls into that, where they're just like, what if I wasn't me? What if I didn't have all the things I have? What if I didn't become who I became? Like, what would my life be like if I didn't have this? And I think what I find interesting about his thoughts and his perspective in this song is that he also asks, what if life had turned out different to what it is? Would I still be me? Would I be better off or worse? Because, you know, with celebrity, there does come a lot of things that they can't do that we all think are normal. There is a lot of like, and he talks about it where, yeah, like this section, where he talks about like basically the separation that comes from, that separation from others and normalcy that comes from having fame, success, wealth, and how that's impacted him. And he's like, well, if I was a normal person, if I didn't have all of this, would my life have been better or worse or different? And then in the next line, he's like, you know, like this line where he's like, I mean, like the way this translation has it, he's basically saying, how can I tell others, love yourself, if I'm not sure I'd love myself without the things that I have, without the success, the fame, the wealth. And I think that is so honest, because like if we all think about it, like if we all found a way to do whatever we were doing and we became famous. We had all the success in the world, acknowledged by everyone, and all the money in the world, all the things we had. Like, when you get to that place, those are the things you want. It's very easy and natural and normal to fall into greed and like be focused on all of these milestones and markers of your success, because that is what you've always wanted to be, right? You've always wanted to be really successful, acknowledged by everyone, an artist beloved by millions around the world, and they shower you in wealth and don't make you worry about your next paycheck and how you can now just make your art. And he's like, I got all of this, and I can't not focus on it as much as I want to say that I'm a humble and modest person and I live my life trying to be those ideals. I'm still focused on all of that. So who would I be if right now, or in the beginning, all of that was taken away? What if I didn't have the hope that I had to be the pillar of strength for BTS and to be able to support so many people around the world through my music? What if I didn't have a dream and pursue what I did? Or what if I didn't have a dream anymore now? What if I didn't have any passion now? Like, what if I didn't have any money or a house or the car? Like, what if I had nothing? What if I actually lived the version of my life where all of the things that I worried about, failure, no passion, poverty, what if I had nothing? Could I handle life like that? Could I do that shit? I think it's very natural to think about those things and to have those thoughts, and I'm sure they talk about this with each other, BTS, but they don't really talk about it with us because I think they understand that it's hard to have those discussions on camera or wherever, because there is a sense of like, well, you're living a privileged life, a very privileged life that the rest of us, most of us will never have. So it's hard to feel, I don't know, enough sympathy, enough understanding of that. Because after a while you go, well, you don't have to worry about healthcare. You'll always be able to afford all the medical care and attention you need to live a healthy life. You will never have to worry about not having a roof over your head. You will never have to worry about food insecurity. And those are, according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, are like the things that the basic needs we all have in life, right? So if an outsider looks into that kind of conversation, you would think like, well, like, your basic needs are covered, so all of this is extra. So they've never really talked about that kind of stuff with us, understandably. I'm sure they've talked about it with each other. And here it is reflected in the song, because I think it's very natural for a celebrity, for someone in the position that Hobi is in, to have these kinds of thoughts. And so he found a way to talk about it in his music. I asked myself hundreds of times, am I really like that? Is this actually who I am? Someone who's actually focused on these things. I think it's very, I don't know, brave of him to talk about this. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. Jay says, this instrumental makes me think he is saying, watch out world, I'm coming out. Just like how Jack jumps out of the box to surprise us. Oh, the music box section? Yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that interpretation a lot. Loba says, I don't have much to add because I thought something similar than you. I believe the breathing is indicating that he's reflecting about some subjects that make him anxious or uncomfortable, though, like facing the mirror. Well, that works too, considering the topic of this song and the other ones that come after this. Loba also says, I have mixed feelings about What If. How so? Please elaborate. I don't know, like, I think it is very hard to become a successful artist, a successful celebrity, and all of the things that come with that, and to retain who you were before all of that. Because with celebrity, with fame, with money, your ability to move around in the world, your ability to have relationships with people all changes. Your fame, your celebrity, your wealth always hangs in the air whenever you are trying to make new relationships with people, and your old ones with people also change. Your ability to move unencumbered, not unrecognized, and safe in the world also changes, especially if you're in a position of BTS where you're so well known and have had even a shit ton of death threats thrown at you over the years. And so I think with celebrity, with the people that BTS have become, and they've talked about this in all of their documentaries, in escalating, and their perspectives have escalated and their perspectives have developed over time as their fame has escalated and as their insulation from the world as we know it has escalated over time. It's been very interesting to see their perspective, and they talk about how like things that we consider normal, it was in what was the last one? Bring the Soul? I think I am the worst person to remember what all of them are called. I always say like Burn the Soul. Oh, I can't remember the last one that came out. But it was Yoongi who said like, your normal is my extraordinary, and your ordinary is my extraordinary, and my ordinary is your extraordinary, because they do live a very crazy high life full of wealth and whatever, and we're all like, wow, that's amazing. And then they're like, and then we go, oh, I went to the movies to see the new movie that came out, and they're like, wow, that's amazing, you went in public and did all these crazy things. But yeah, so I can understand, anyway, to come back to Hobie and What If, I can understand these kinds of thoughts eating away at him, because you can't, I don't think you can survive fame unscathed. Yeah, that's how you say it. Loba says, isn't What If a song that expresses a lack mentality as opposed to as a mentality of abundance? Interesting. You think he's trying to say that he is lacking something? Let me look at this with new eyes. I mean, maybe, yeah. I think he is saying that he's missing something. I don't know. I get this feeling through the melody and the way it escalates, and until at the end he's like shouting what if a lot. That this is just he's lacking something, but he doesn't know what he can take away from himself, maybe. Like, I don't know. I get the idea that like these what if questions are eating away at him. And especially this part right here, like this verse, I think is like what he hears from the people around him. How you doing, bro? Seems like you're living your best life these days, dressed up so nicely. I wonder what hardships and ordeals mean to you since you only walked up intact stairs. Maybe you have no idea about such things. You have everything now. Money, glory, fortune, even followed by people you like. Can you still tell yourself to love yourself and tell people to love yourself and have hope? Even if it means all of those things will be taken from you and you'll be at the bottom. Yeah, I think my takeaway is this is him saying like, I have such a high life now, but what if I didn't? Isn't What If a song? I agree with your interpretation that these feelings are normal. What I mean is that there are people, for example, that live through poverty, and no matter how much success they achieve, they always have this crushing fear of not having enough money. Yeah, that could be what he is feeling here too, because yeah, we all know that he didn't come from money either. Yeah, I mean, I also think that in their position and the fact that BTS are, despite all of HYBE's efforts to the contrary, they still are the majority revenue makers for their company, and therefore the ones supporting their company, like propping it up. I think it comes with a lot of responsibility and a lot of fear of, if I fuck up, all of this will be gone. It'll just all disappear because I came from nothing, and to nothing I can return. And they often compensate by either being scared to spend any money or buying material things on a consumerism way. I'm not saying that's where his fear comes from. I'm saying that I know people who have that coping mechanism for that reason. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Honestly, it could apply to him in some senses. It could apply to any of them in some senses. I think it's natural that these kinds of thoughts go through their heads, considering everything they've been through. I think they would go through my head if I was in their shoes, to be honest. I think about that all the time. Thank you for this very active discussion, Lopa. I appreciate all of your comments. Let's move on, because the next song I really like too, and I think it's something else that he reflects on, and I think it fits in with this, like, the difficulties of celebrity and where he is today, and like the amount of success and everything that's come, and like where he is resting at on the mountain right now. I think the next song fits in with it as well.
Where's my stage on? 왼쪽 오른쪽 go straight. What's my stage on? 이겨 저거 or act.
That's not him singing at the end, is it? Because he did say that this album was supposed to be all of him, but I don't think that sounds like him at the end. I feel like he sampled something, right? He sampled an older song. I think that's what I read in one of the articles that I was reading about him. Yeah, this song, like I was saying, I think it also goes back to the whole idea of, like, when you are at the level that they're at, there is loneliness. There's a lot of loneliness in being a successful artist, a part of BTS. And I think this song is him just always wondering, like, where is my safe zone? Where is the place where I can escape to, where no one wants anything from me, where I can be myself and lean on someone else? How do I find a way, like, who can I depend on, and how can I escape all the pressures and the hardships in my life? Like, where is my break? Where do I get to have a break? And I think, honestly, that's a very honest question. And I've been wondering about this for them, because I would imagine in their shoes, being as successful as they are. So on the one hand, they need to support themselves, right? They need to support Hybe, because they're still the ones that make the majority of the money for their company. I would imagine they're also financially supporting their family, at least their parents, at least their immediate family. And then in some cases, other people in their family, because they're the ones that, are successful, right? Like, extremely successful. So it would make sense that they are financially supporting other people. And I think that happens a lot for people who reach a certain level of success, that they, especially if you came from, like, a lower income family, a family of not as many means, that you want to share the wealth that you've been able to get, assuming with the support of your family. So you want to give back to them. And so I think this line, this verse, I really like where he's saying, like, where's my safe zone? Like, who can I depend on? Is it my fans? Is it the people who, who is it the cheers of the people who trust me? Fans, right? And he's like, but what if they stop being my fans and turn their back on me? That would really suck. Okay, well then can I depend on my mentors, the people who have led me here, who have supported me? And it's like, well, that gets scary. How can you lay all your, all of your trust and support on someone else? And he's like, oh, so then do I depend on my family, the people who share my blood? Well, I can't really do that. I feel a sense of duty, like I have to give back, and that's what I'm doing. Like, if I'm the one who's financially supporting my parents, I don't feel like I'm in a position to tell them, like, it's really hard. My job is really hard. It's really hard for me. Like, I feel lonely a lot. It's hard to escape the pressure of always being a successful artist, because your parents are going to be like, they're going to do their best to support you, but you're also going to worry them because you're also telling them like maybe your financial support is going to dry up. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? I'm laughing, but it's like a complicated issue. It's a complicated spot to be in. And so his last line where he says, I like animals more than people. Yeah, animals don't need anything from you. And they're just like, oh, you're playing with me. You're feeding me. Easy. I love you. Animals are easy. You also don't have to send animals to college. It's great. You don't have to send them to school. So, yeah, I've thought about how isolating it must be for BTS in their position. How much is on their back. How much psychological and emotional pressure they feel from everyone around them, even if the people around them are trying their best not to add to the pressure. I think it's just a reality of their situation. And also I feel like they will also put pressure on themselves because they all want to be successful artists, but also they all also want to live a happy life. And those things sometimes are in conflict, sometimes aren't. Yeah, I really appreciate that he made a song about this topic. The other thing I've noticed is like all of the songs that we've listened to thus far, as opposed to your signature BTS song, these songs don't have a resolution to the problem. It's just, here's the problem. And that's maybe why they're shorter. I mean, one, because that is the musical trend these days for songs to be on the shorter side. But also it feels like he's like, these are all problems. These are all things that I'm feeling. And I don't have a solution for you. I don't have a way out for myself. So I'm just going to present the problem and the mood and frame it. And then we're going to move on to the next song.
hours 그래 난 그냥 도박이었잖아 I need it too When I said I do 용기와 믿음 긍정의 rhythm oh
This song is so sweet. Jazzy says I can't wait to see him perform these songs. Yeah, me too. I've never wanted to go to a festival in my life, but now I'm desperate to go. You can't, for me, the idea of being in crowds at a music festival is very scary, and it would very much detract from my fun. The only people I trust in a crowd is ARMY. That's why I like going to concerts. ARMY has their shit together, and we're great in a crowd. Other people at a festival, I don't trust them. I don't want to, it's too scary for me. Loba says, I don't think you need to be famous to feel that way or to be in that position. I think a lot of normal people and in that situation described by safety zone. Very true. Very true. Yeah, I agree with you. Where you're like, who do I depend on? Who can I lean on? I have that question a lot too. I said I do. I also really like that his answer to that question seems to actually be in this song in Future, because I think she says, yes, the first time I read the lyrics I was wondering what are his conclusions to these complex worries and situations he describes, and there are no conclusions, and it's fantastic. Yeah. But the thing is now that I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering if the answer is kind of in this song, because it seems like he's saying the things that grow scarier and harder to bear alone, the closer they come, you must go with the flow. Like, he's just basically saying, I'm just going to go with the flow, and what happens, happens. It is what it is. Especially when he's like, where's that line? We cannot become salmon who swim upstream. Like, we can't change things. There's a lot of things that will just happen. And he goes, in the end, things change. Nothing lasts forever. And I think that's his answer to, how much he's passionate about his music and his career. He's like, in the end, like, things change. Nothing lasts forever. I have to accept that. I have to go with the flow. The things that I wish were different, like the things that I don't have an answer to, like, it is what it is. I just have to go with the flow. I leave it up to fate. I think that he's trying to say, especially like in the beginning when he says, in the end, my mind is covered with bruises. I always become the subject of my fights with myself. I think he's saying like, yeah, I think myself into circles. I think myself into until I'm twisted into a knot. And at the end of the day, I have to let life take its course. I have to go with the flow. And then I think he's also, and then he, the reason he says he can do that is he's like, I also need hope. I have to hope that things will be better. That it looks like I need it to. With courage and faith on hope, I hang my future. Acceptance. Yeah. And he's just like, I hope that things will turn out for the best in the future. I need it too. Just like you need hope from me, I need hope as well. We all are in that boat. Yeah, I think looking back, I think this song is his answer. He's like, what I don't know, I don't know. I'm just gonna hope it ends up in a good place. Cause what else are you gonna do? Oh yeah, and Letitia, your English is fine. Don't worry about it. Plus, you can't really type in that little chat box very well. Like, I always have typos when I write in them as well. I will figure out what you guys are saying. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I also think in this song, he's also just commenting on, like, the mental struggles of an artist, of him as a person. And, this is basically his commentary of what goes on in his head when he thinks about his future, his past, his career, everything. I think the other members of BTS have said that, like, Hobi thinks about a lot of things. I think I remember that. I think it might have been Jimin who's like, Hobi's very in his head at some point. Is that why Jimin likes to talk with him? Do they both talk about all of this and have a lot of, like, therapy sessions together? I can totally imagine that. What I would do to have the chance to talk to them, not, like, in an interview setting, but just as, like, person to person, like, friend to friend, like, fan to artist. Like, let me tell you how awesome you are and how you can fuck up in 8 million different ways and I'll still be here, because the bond we have is not one of entertainer and entertainee. It's friend to friend. Because you've shown me enough of yourself that I'm like, I get you. You're a normal human being like me who just happens to make amazing music that makes me happy. Loba says, I always tell people that Hobi's songs are very humanitarian and socially conscious. Yeah, those are very good words to apply to him. I agree. I would also say socially conscious also applies to, like, Yoongi and Namjoon. It probably applies to all of them, but I haven't seen any mixtapes from the vocal line, which I want to. I want to hear what their personal thoughts in their heads are too. Let's finish off this album with Arson, which I think encapsulates Hobi's big dilemma going forward as he begins chapter 2 of their career, which is, I started a fire with BTS. Do I keep it going and make it even bigger, or do I put it out? So let's listen to the song and then we'll talk about it.
Done, done, done.
Hobi closing out Hobi Palooza with Arson is Fire. Oh yeah. Oh, I totally think he will. Honestly, I think this song encapsulates him right now, and he doesn't have an answer to this. It's done. Yeah. This song has really grown on me too. And I think it presents a really interesting dilemma because, and I don't have the answer for him. I wouldn't know what I would do in his shoes, because to me, basically what he's saying in this song is, like, I started a fire, and that fire was my youth, my passion, everything I poured into my music my entire life, that I poured everything into my career, and it blew up into this wildfire, right? Into their massive success. The fact that they're beloved by tens of millions of fans around the world in, like, fucking every country. Arson is, like, this idea of, like, it wasn't a controlled fire. Like, it started and it's destructive and it just ran away. It's chaotic, it's unpredictable, it's uncontrollable. It was what he wanted, right? He got fame, he got money, he got popular. And because that's what he wanted, he had no choice but to like work himself to death, but to overheat myself. And how like I really like the imagery and the metaphor here, that like I shower with gasoline so that I can make a fire on my feet, on my legs. Like that his success heated up, his popularity is at the top. And also I will side note, I like that he, again, for the 8 millionth time, that the solos can't seem to understand that he's like, with my fans, with my label, with my fellas of BTS. Like, his label is on his fucking side. Stop being Hybe and big hit haters. These people are not trapped in a basement. They're in control of their lives, and their label has supported them to death. Loba says it's funny that he's speaking about everything burning when we say he's our sun, because in reality the sun is a ball of explosions. Yeah, very true. Haha, I like that. I like that it fits. But yeah, I mean, I don't really understand this line. Maybe you guys can tell me your interpretation. Because like earlier in the verse, he's saying like, we burn up all the time. Like being an arsonist was fun. There was nothing to be afraid of. An inch ahead, fuck off. I don't understand this. Either he's saying he doesn't care about the future, or someone told him you can only inch forward and he said fuck off. I don't know. Like, does anybody have a better interpretation of the song or a better lyric translation? Because the other one, I don't know if I have another one pulled up. But this is like the one line that I don't understand. But yeah, and then what I get is that later in the song, he's just like, right, if anyone asks me, I'm the one who started the fire. Like the chorus is saying, he goes, I acknowledge that I chose this. Like, I started the fire, but now the choice in front of me is, do I put out the fire and stop and end my career? Or do I let it burn even bigger? And do I blow it up even more? And the reason he has that dilemma is in the part where he says, like, it's done. He goes, my dreams are done. All the big achievements and the big milestones that I had wanted to reach, I've done that. Like, my part is done. There's nothing else. Like, he's saying, like, technically, I could retire right now, leaving when there's still applause. That's cool. He's like, I'm not going to be a dried out has-been. I could retire right now at the height of my career. Everybody would be left wanting more and left remembering me as this amazing talent that they couldn't get enough of, with nothing bad to my name. I could do that. Technically, this is an exit strategy right here. Or I could keep going. And he can't decide. And you know, the part where he's like, why I started the fire was for me. Like, he's like, I did this for myself. But who knew that the world would burn up? Like, he's like, I started my career for me, and I started my fire because that's what I wanted to do. But who knew that the world would resonate so fucking strongly with my art, with BTS, with everything that we've done. Yeah. And then he again, like, he referenced the fire was too big to put out and became a huge arson. Oh shit. Like, it's him saying that, like, him continuing his career, him continuing to put out music, put out art, and have fans react to it, he can't control it. There is unpredictability in this, and in a way it could be also unsustainable, right? You could also say it's maybe a bit toxic to be in this kind of environment. It clearly has not been 100% perfect A+ experience. He experiences loneliness. He doesn't know who to depend on. You know, he wonders if all the material trappings of celebrity are things that he's become dependent on. You know, like, is he going to have to continue to deal with discrimination and people shitting on him in the West just because he's Korean, and his career is it still going to be marked by hate and envy and all the other bullshit that comes along with being a celebrity? But at the same time, arson, this kind of wildfire that he started, is a phenomenon that has never been seen before, and it's changed the history of music forever. And obviously he loves what he does. This is his passion. So I also love how in the music video, the later half of it, he's coming out of the fire and he's all scarred up and burned and all fucked up. And to me, that's him being traumatized by his career, but kind of like being a veteran. Like, this is what he's had to, how everything he's done, all of his soul that he's poured into his art, his time, his sweat, his youth into his career, it has had an effect on him. He has been burned by the fire that he started, and so it's like there's also the question of, should he exit now so he can live, I don't know, a normal life, so he can heal from everything that he's gone through, or should he keep going and just burn up altogether? Yeah, like this chorus especially, like he talks about how like it's painful to live like this, like, and it's scary, and technically he is the only one who can put out the fire. If he retires, this is the point where he could be like, okay, thank you, only I can make this choice, I'm retiring. Loba says, whatever is coming, he probably means whatever struggles or conflicts happen in the future, I will face them when they happen head on. Yes. This song also, again, I think the magic in all of his songs on this album are in looking at the lyrics, in understanding the thoughts that he's conveying to us and the things that he's confessing through his music. And the fact is this song is a dilemma that they all face, and he's the first one to speak it into being of like, do I retire right now? We've had an amazing, successful career. Do I end it? And do I step away and try to find the normalcy that I've never gotten? Try to not be as isolated as I felt up until now through my career, my celebrity, my fame, my wealth, whatever. Or do I acknowledge that I love this shit to death, I am so passionate about this, and I should just keep going, running the risk that I burn to death doing this? Or who knows, maybe it'll work out. I don't know. Again, I don't think there's an answer to this question. And I think the fact that he's the first one to put out his album, I wonder if he put out this album and now he's just going to sit back and see what happens. And, you know, with the rest of them releasing whatever album they want, exploring other artistic projects in whatever way that they wanted, going to the military, and just seeing, like, naturally, going with the flow and hoping for the best and just seeing, like, how is this going to work out? Yeah, I would guess that that's where he is. And maybe also trying to see if being an artist on his own, if this is as satisfying as when they were as a group, or if this isn't the same. Because who knows, maybe that's part of it as well. Maybe he's really hoping that he'll get an answer after performing at Lollapalooza on his own. Hobie-palooza. You know, trying to see, like, does he get the same joy performing on his own in front of all these people? Does it feel just as good to be on his own and with his own music as it did with BTS and their group music? Is it better? Is it worse? I would guess that he's probably, like, a guinea pig of all of this. But also that this is his own, like, test of, like, if he feels an answer to the question posed in this song through Hobie-palooza. So I guess it'll also depend on how ARMY react when they see him. Loba says they need to do the Adele and just take more free time in between releases and learn that that's okay. They don't have a duty to keep releasing content constantly. Yeah, in one sense, that would be a great thing to do, and that would be but that's the thing. I think when this is your passion, it's really hard to give it up. It's really hard to stop. They talk about it themselves, especially with writing B and in Disease, that they're workaholics, and that it wasn't like someone else was like, you have to work really hard if you want to get ahead. It was their own choice. They worked that hard for themselves because they wanted to, because they were that passionate about what they were doing. And I would say that it's really hard to stop. And I also think maybe part of it is a concern of, like, if I go away, will I fade from relevance? Will that be, if I take a longer break, is that me making a choice to put out the fire, in other words? You know, or do I have to keep pushing ahead and keep trying until I feel the answer? I think it's very hard because being artistic, a lot of it is emotional, a lot of it is digging deep, and I don't think you can make a logical choice about what you should do when you don't know how you would feel with either outcome. But overall, that is his album. And like I said before, I feel really privileged that he gave us this much insight into himself. Because, I mean, technically he didn't have to. None of them have to do anything. None of them have to make music that's this raw and honest. And it's like, it's not even dark in the sense of like, he's talking about really dark topics. It's more like he's not glossing over the difficulties of being a human living in the world by always being positive and hopeful. He's like, these are my actual thoughts and feelings and dilemmas that I'm working through. And I don't have an answer to them, but here's what they are. TBD. I wonder if it was really hard for him to release this music and not hide behind his hope and positivity the way he has in the past. Because I do think if you develop a habit of communicating that way and covering up all of your, I don't know, they're not dark spots, but like problems that you're having by saying like, oh, I'm sure it'll work out. Like, yeah, but let's look at it positively. Like, let's find the silver lining, blah, blah, blah. If you have a habit of talking like that with people, and especially in your art, then given the chance to just not sugarcoat it and keep it raw and gritty and unresolved, I'm sure it's very uncomfortable. And he actually talked about that in his Weverse interview about how he's like, I'm so vulnerable on this album. Oh, my soul is in every song. I've been laid bare. I hope you like it. Yes, Hobie, I like it very much. I wish I had answers for you, but I do not. So all we can all do is hope that the future falls out in a better way than we hoped. Yeah. Well, those are my thoughts on the album. I hope you've had fun listening through these songs with me and you've enjoyed hearing my analyses. I really enjoyed talking with you guys about this and I liked hearing your thoughts. Please feel free to always chime in with whatever you think. I am just one fan and I'm just interpreting things from one perspective. So it's art, so all perspectives are valid. So I love hearing other people's points of view. Always love these live streams. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you guys like it. I always wonder if I'm just talking to the void around like, well, here's what I think. Because I am Army fan number 1, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I like what they say. I like them as people. And I like what they choose to express through their art. So I just really enjoy having the chance to glean about their personality and what's going through their head through their music. Because let's face it, I'm probably never going to meet them in person or have an in-person conversation with them. But luckily, their art gives me a beautiful window into their minds. And they give it to me freely. The best thing we can do is to show support and excitement now, like we're doing. Yes! Did you talk about the Hyde party or did you miss it? You mean his, like, releasing party? I thought I didn't know was it live streamed somewhere? I only saw like Instagram stories and like things being reposted on Twitter. I know Bang Shiok was there. I saw there was like a picture of him at one of the tables by himself. God, I love him. He's so cute. I want to meet him. But yeah, I actually really like that Hobie took the time to put together this listening party. And that it was just like the stage and everybody was like eating and drinking and dancing. And then they were playing other musics in the meantime. And it was a bunch of, I guess, like people in the Korean music industry, like other artists and all that. Because that's the other thing. I think BTS has been largely isolated from the rest of the artists in the Korean music scene. And I don't know why. Maybe it was intentional. Maybe it was... maybe it was just like they were blacklisted by the other companies because they felt like they were competing. I don't know. From the names I saw, it was mostly K-rappers, dancers, and a few idols, probably his friends. Maybe. But like publicly, like it was usually like there's the K-pop scene or the K music scene and then there's BTS. And it always was like, do they not have friends? Are they supposed to be very quiet about who their friends are? It makes it feel like BTS are isolated and alienated from the Korean music community. And maybe they were. Who knows? I don't know. But seeing his listening party made it apparent that no, they actually are either have existing or new relationships that they're building with other K music artists in the scene, which was really, really nice to see. It was fun to see. Yeah, exactly. And do you guys see that clip of like Jungkook smiling and like lying down on the stage, and everybody was like, oh, he's drunk. He's lost in the sauce. It was really funny. I don't think they're isolated. It's just kept under the radar. Yeah, but it's been kept really under the radar, and I've always wondered why. But it feels like they're slowly starting to loosen that up, and I hope they keep loosening it up, because I don't want to think of BTS as aliens to Korea. I want to see them interacting with other people in the scene. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Hobie seems the type who is very selective about who he hangs out with, but that's an assumption. Maybe. Yeah, that could be. He could be hard to trust. Jin is me at parties, always not knowing anyone. Yeah. I hope that the rest of them have listening parties too. Maybe it's easier to listen to his music if you speak Korean, because you can grasp what he's trying to convey in real time. For me, like I needed the translations to understand these songs and get more enjoyment out of them, because this time like I've said, the secrets, the significant stuff, like the best part of these songs was in the lyrics and the ideas that he was trying to convey, and knowing them is what really made me enjoy this album. But I don't speak Korean, so it's hard to pick that up on the first go. Loba says it's probably a cultural thing. Korean celebs seem more private in general. True. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so I hope that HYBE does either listening, or like the other members of BTS, I hope they pick the opportunity to have their listening parties hosted by HYBE, because I think that's fun. I just it seems like a switch up from what they've done before. It helps them get individual connections with other people in the industry, and it's just fun to see on the outside them just, or like in JK's case, getting lost in the sauce. Also, I did also want to mention that I really liked seeing how involved Hobie was with the direction of all the stuff that he was making, like watching the Bangtan Bomb for More and then for Arson, seeing how much of it is him, his ideas, him tweaking it. I really appreciate him showing that, because I know that he is involved in his own things, but there are some fringe people in our fandom who feel like at any time anything is not done in the way that they wanted, they think that BTS are being locked in the basement and they have to only do what their label wants them to do. Their label cannot control them. They are uncontrollable artists. They do what they fucking want, and their label runs to keep up with them. Receipts for Mantis. Yeah. So it's just, I know that like this stuff is included sometimes, the like scenes of Hobie directing things, to make it clear that like he is very involved. Watch his vlog. He says repeatedly, I was involved in almost every aspect of everything. This is me. This is my freaking, mind and soul in my art. So please extrapolate from that and understand that anything these stupid Mantis didn't like in the album, okay, you don't like what he made. There's no one else you have to blame. You didn't like something or some artistic choice that he made. That's fine. You don't have to like everything, but stop going on a victim crusade and trying to free people from a basement they're not in. There's been many, many years of BTS leading their company and doing what they want to do, and their company keeping up with them and supporting them and, working hand in hand with them. So I have no idea where these Mantis are pulling their information from anymore. Just like, I'm so over it. These are fucking grown men. How old is Hobie now? 27? I think in international years it's 27. I think. Right? Confirm that for me. And in Korean years, he's 29. Like, this is an adult man. He's an adult. He's making his own choices. He learned how to make music a long time ago. He is just honing his craft, but no one is telling him what to do. And seeing him in his element, seeing him make choices, seeing him being willing to take 8 million takes, as many as is needed to make a good music video, to make everything look aesthetically pleasing, just really speaks to his workmanship and his perfectionism and how dedicated he is to his art. Every single thing in this album was his choice. And it's really fun to think of it that way because it lets you really ponder his meanings and what he was trying to convey by doing things a certain way. Remember Dachita, Yoongi was like, no, I want a historical drama set, a real sword, a cool scar, and a movie director. It made me laugh. Yes! Yoongi was like, I'm not gonna half-ass this. We're gonna go all the way. These boys are also just like, they want the best and they're going to work their ass off to be the best and to get the best of what they need to make what they want happen. Which makes it great because then you know whatever they're going to come out with and reveal to us as ARMY is the best that they can give us at a certain point in time. Like you can expect high quality from them. Being a fan of BTS, of anything that they put out is like the greatest gift as a fan. This is amazing. I've really enjoyed this rollout. I've really liked all of his personal artistic choices. I like that he had 2 music videos, and I like that he came out with one early, so we had time to adjust to what the kind of music that this was going to be. I liked that he had all of these behind the scenes looks because he had a vlog and he had the 2 Bangtan bombs, so there's plenty of it. And then I have not seen the V Live yet. Was the V Live good? And I like that the V Live was scheduled. That was really interesting to have like the notification pop up and being like, V Live happening. It was like really early in the morning for me. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm still going to miss this. You know what? I will say, I love that there's merch. Anyone who wants to buy it, go ahead. But like for me, considering the personal nature of this album, it feels weird to like buy merch for it. Because I'm like, yeah, Arson. Well, actually, I like that song. But it's like, let me celebrate Hobie's struggles. Like, let me wear in merch the things that he's, having issues with. I'm like, it feels a little weird to me. If it doesn't, I don't care if other people buy merch. But just personally, I was just like, I don't know how well I can support myself buying merch on this. I think Arson is a concept that will apply to all of them. I thought it was pre-recorded, but it was actually live. Oh, did it have subtitles then? Maybe it has subtitles now. Maybe I can go back and watch it now. You got the Jack in the Box? You'll have to show me how that is and like if it's because you know how sometimes with Jack in the Boxes, if you crank the crank really fast, it'll jump out faster and scare you faster. But then there's other Jack in the Boxes where it doesn't matter how fast you crank it, it turns at the same, like the music comes out at the same speed. The V Live looks pre-recorded, but Hobie was like, nope. I was like, sorry. Oh, that's funny. Well, maybe it has subtitles now. Maybe I can look it up now and actually understand what he's saying. It's kind of scary looking, the Jack in the Box. That's the thing. Like, Hobie, you're really cute. So, like, it's really hard to think of you as not cute. Scary Hobie. Anyway. All right. Okay. I will let you guys go. Thank you for sticking around with me and listening to all the songs and talking about them. I'm very proud of Hobie. And I can't wait for Hobie Palooza on the 31st. It's going to be amazing. And I'm so glad that we can watch it live online and we don't have to physically be there. Because otherwise I was going to be very sad. But yeah, fortunately it's going to be live streamed on YouTube by Lollapalooza. Is what I understand. And it's going to be live streamed somewhere else. I can't remember where the other place is though. So YouTube it is. Alrighty guys. See you next time.
Done.